So I'm going to spend 10 minutes looking at 4 key things. Firstly, aligning what Portsmouth involvement in PAC2 Phase 2 is, including our forecast outcomes. Then I'm going to talk about future possible ideas of projects and things that future European schemes could finance. And then finally, I'm going to cover off what I consider to be the benefits of working with colleagues on European schemes. So, the Port's main involvement in PAC2 Phase 2 is to test innovative high-tech equipment with the view to improving communication with our foot and ferry passengers coming through the port, going to the continent and also to the Channel Islands. So just moving on to going into a little bit more detail about what exactly we've done in Phase 2. So on to the next slide, please. On the next slide, you should be able to see, and on to the next one, that's it, an image of what the final lecterns are looking like. We're installing 4 of these units in the port's new terminal building. Each unit is displaying relevant information, allowing passengers to make good use of their time and being able to make more intelligent decisions. The lecterns will have a 17-inch touchscreen, and the PAC2 and Interreg logos will be clearly displayed on the units. They're going to be available in 3 different languages, and we're making sure, onto the next slide, that the lecterns are fully intuitive and all information is available within 3 clicks. We're making sure that they're fully accessible by everyone, so they're going to be low enough for wheelchair users to use. And for those that want a little bit more information, there's going to be QR codes which can be picked up by smartphones. On the next slide, you can see 2 pictures of the Port's new terminal building, which is where these lecterns are going to be located. On the left, you've got the outside, and on the right, we've got one possible location for the final lecterns to stand, right next to the exit. If we look at the next slide, what I'd briefly like to talk about is why we feel these are important and what the outcomes are going to be. We believe that these lecterns, which we're going to test and send the results to partners, will add value to ports. We believe it's going to improve communication, that passengers with questions can go over and in an easy, accessible format get useful information, such as foot passengers considering going into the centre of Portsmouth. They can easily check the weather in these devices. They can easily look at public sector transport options, meaning we hope to get more and more people walking into the centre of Portsmouth, which should reduce congestion and of course has health benefits. It will also give traffic information so people can make more intelligent decisions about various routes. And once we've collected this data of feedback, we'll be sharing it with our clients so that our colleagues overseas can assess more objectively whether they feel that these devices would also work at their ports. So on to the next slide. We think that there's opportunities for us all to work together, and there's various benefits here. Now the benefits on this slide, Simon, they are not the latest slide, but if I can cover off what I see to be the key benefits of working together, there's clearly the funding aspect. All ports need funding. We need to keep investing, innovating to remain afloat and remaining as viable going concerns. But there's far more to European schemes than just leaving funding. All schemes such as PAC2 is a good opportunity to exploit synergies, develop and test new resource equipment, and make sure that ports are engaged in innovative carbon reduction schemes. A good example of this is when the Port of Portsmouth was involved in Patch, we installed low carbon features in our buildings, such as the seawater heating harvesting system, whereby we can cool and heat the building with the use of seawater, which reduces the need for a conventional boiler and also air conditioning units. Also really important is the network that European schemes provide. I can pick my phone up to a number of people now throughout Europe, and if we're considering a particular angle to exploit, I've got people that I can talk to and bounce ideas off. We can learn from other partners. For instance, I was particularly interested in the Scrubber report that Calais are doing as part of PAC2, and also their coal dining report in Patch. We can use modern communication methods such as video, like today, to communicate the benefits of joint working and what we've learned from these schemes. And just as important are what I call learning costs, things that we've found that perhaps didn't go as smoothly, for instance, with the seawater harvesting system. We can share this with our colleagues and they can then learn from our mistakes and avoid the same mistakes again. We also believe it's important that with these European schemes, we can communicate with the government and local enterprise networks so that they fully understand the benefits of ports and their sustainable networks in the local. We're excited about opportunities to work with you guys again, and there are a whole range of options potentially available to us. So I thought of options under efficiency, particular schemes, and effectiveness. So covering off the efficiency ones, the Port of Portsmouth in particular is extremely short on space. We only have 44 acres, so it's really important that we make better use of our natural resources. And for instance, we're looking at lengthening quays, and we're having to look at innovative features, such as for the ships that don't need link spans, are there options, for instance, to put in new link spans which can be fully retractable, thereby giving more space on the berth, or indeed installing link spans that can be easily decoupled and floated away. There are a number of carbon reduction strategies that we think future European funding could possibly finance, such as looking at options like innovative link spans, powering link spans from natural resources such as the sea and the sun. There's a number of options that we can all work towards to support larger, greener ships. And like any port, to accept the larger ships, we need deeper water and longer berths. ICT is also a good opportunity for funding. For instance, with a cash injection for ICT, we could fully automate freight check-ins, which means that the port could operate more efficiently. And this doesn't need to just be applied to the passenger side, but also the freight side. In terms of increased effectiveness, we believe passenger experience is paramount. And it's really important, for instance, when they're in the buildings, we have modern, low-carbon buildings. So examples could be future ports wanting to expand or revamp their buildings, making sure they're low-carbon and well-designed. And this could even extend to other indoor structures, such as gangways and siege towers, which we use on our two main berths at the port, so that passengers can safely board vessels. We also think it's important that passengers have a good experience at the port, outside buildings, so a possible future European scheme with Portsmouth's involvement could be reconfiguring the road network to make traffic flows more efficient, to reduce carbon, to reduce jams, and altogether to improve the passenger throughput and experience. So really, in final conclusion, Portsmouth are completely committed to working with you guys on future European schemes, and we're looking forward to working with you on new future schemes and collectively learning and moving forwards together. Thank you.